We're here at the Nurburgring for the 6th round of the Lotus Cup Europe Championships. Once again, we're supporting DTM for the 3rd time this season, and we're looking forward to putting on a great show. We're on the grid ready for race 1. Tamas Vazan's on pole, Ben Spaller in 2nd place, followed by Peter Verlinde in 3rd.
Vazan and Baller on the front row of the grid, followed by Peter Verlinde and Xavier Georges. Jason McAnulty with Thierry Verhees next up from David McAnulty. 211 pole with Anthony Fournier, then it's Philippe Lou and Franck Laroche. Dave Harvey with Robin Nilsson, then Ian Fennick and Ryan Savage. Good to have him back racing. That's Juniprache ahead of hubby Jean-Pierre Juniprache, who's on pole for the productions. Then it's Kai Siederholm and Mark Yates, Dave Carr and Dan Plant, Danny Holland, Sven Pedersen and Daniel Palmer completing the grid. Not a happy qualifying for Daniel Palmer. Slightly shorter configuration than you might have seen being raced on before here at the Nurburgring. Not the full GP circuit. Problems for Ryan Savage. So the 22-year-old doesn't look like he's going to get that immaculate looking 211 car to the grid, unfortunately. But fingers crossed he'll be out for his seasonal debut in race 2. Got a fair few onboards, as you might expect, and as is the norm with Lotus Cup Europe racing. That one was courtesy of Peter Verlinde, starting his 3rd meeting with us. Thierry Verhees a little bit further back, he's on the outside of row 3. He is side by side with Jason McAnulty. The lights are on here in Germany. Up to the line they come. The starter is happy with things, the lights go out, it's a good start. Thierry Verhees from row 3, having a look to try and get past Xavier Georges, who started on row 2. He's side by side with him, but it's Ben Spaller, the leader, taking a wide line into the hairpin. Up on the inside line goes Tamas Vazan in yellow. Vazan holds on to 2nd place. Baller's got the lead. Daniel Palmer going very, very wide indeed, clattering across the curbs. And Kai Siederholm to his outside. That's Juniprache in the pink 211 immediately ahead of him. But it's Ben Spaller that leads. Ben's the V6 Championship leader. I'll talk to you about championship points once the race begins to settle down. This is the first of 2 races for you this weekend. A penultimate event of the season. And Tamas Vazan challenging for the lead, but coming under pressure from Verlinde at the moment, with Jason McAnulty in 4th. Mark Yates is past there. Danny Holland going through on the inside line in 117. Nice to see Danny back, having a good run of meetings there. And at the back, the man who is 2nd overall in the championship, beg your pardon, 2nd overall in the productions, 4th overall in the championship, and that's Sven Pedersen with a fair amount of work to do as the lead quartet continue to race hard, with Ben Spaller in his now almost customary front position, but he's coming under pressure from Xavier Georges. David McAnulty in the number 7 car is behind him, and then we've got the run of 211s. Remember, 211 joined up with the Open class this year, so it's 211 Open jointly, mainly 211s, it must be said, as Daniel Palmer, having had that wide moment, comes into pit lane. So problems for Palmer, and hopefully they'll sort that out and he'll be able to rejoin the race at some point. Race leaders, though, with 23 minutes on the clock, rounding turn 1 again. Ben Spaller looking comfortable. Interesting to see very slightly different lines on the cars as Palmer comes in.
Right rear.
Right rear, he says. Well, mechanic on that straight away, but without any real urgency, you have to say, at the moment. But I'm sure they'll sort him and get it going. I wonder if that was anything to do with the curbing, as Jason McAnulty has an issue as well. It looks like Jason's got a problem, but he's fired up again and come back on track. So it's David McAnulty, the leader of the 2 family cars at the moment, giving Xavier Georges a race, but Jason further back than he would like to be after that. Was it a glitch? I don't know, but he's really got some work to do to try and close out as David McAnulty looks at Xavier Georges. Georges working hard and dicing with Thierry Verheest up ahead, Peter Verlinde in third. As I said, third meeting of the campaign for Peter. Joined us at Spa back in June. He's had 3 second places in 4 races. The other one was a non-finish. And each time he's been beaten by Ben Spaller. And Peter looking for his first win in Lotus Cup Europe at the moment. So very fast addition to the ranks. 3 classes to consider, as I've already mentioned and spoken about. It was mentioned in dispatches, the production category, 211 Open and the V6 class as well. V6 we're expecting, I guess, the overall champion to come from. Although it is Franck Laroche in 211 that leads, there will be drop scores to take into account. I'm working on the total points scored at the moment. We'll have a look when we get into the final event of the year, triple header at Le Mans, end of September, when we start taking points out of the equation. Anthony Fournier up ahead there of Franck Laroche, started immediately in front of Franck, so 2 places ahead of Fournier in qualifying with the 211 pole. Anthony Fournier had a win, last win was at Assen, 21st of July, so looking to reclaim a little bit of form. And he's second at the moment in the 211 Championship, as Xavier Georges has a look at Thierry Verheest. So those 2 racing hard. In car with Peter Verlinde. This is the battle for second, closes up on Thomas Vazin. Here's Thierry Verheest. And round the outside line goes Xavier Georges, and the number 9 car goes up to 4th position. Great move from him. He's got a fair amount of work to do now, so Verheest passed by the number 9 car. Then it's David McAnulty in the gold and purple number 7, and Thierry Verheest has got to try and get back on the case of things now as they come down towards us. We've got Philippe Lou at the moment leading the 211 category in the 77 car, so has deposed Anthony Fournier. You can see, in fact, Fournier a little bit further back because we've got Dave Carr, and it looks like Daniel Palmer's out of the race. Oh, he's not happy. Not happy to. Oh, very unhappy. OK, we'll come back to that. Hopefully Daniel back in race 2. Here's a replay of the start. You can see Ben Spaller, black and gold with the red mirrors, makes a decent enough start under the gantry. He's on the outside line, the car with the lights on. Really made the most of that outside start and sweep into turn 1. You can see Philippe Lou nearest the pit wall in the 211s, makes a super start as well. He's 4th or 5th as they come down the straight. And he's got Dave Harvey to his outside, so it's Harvey and Luke for the battle of the 211 Open category. And I think Philippe Lou just managed to get around on the inside of turn 1. Another version of that, you can see Thomas Vazin on the inside line, Peter Verlinde busy chasing him, Xavier Georges trying to go around the outside, but it's a great start by Thierry Verheest, which got him up ahead of the blue number 9 Xavier Georges. So big sort out on the start, and there's plenty of room here at the Nurburgring going into turn 1, which is good. And Jean-Pierre Jeunet-Prache, poleman in the productions, limps off the circuit into retirement. Jean-Pierre sadly not really in contention for the overall championship. We missed him, didn't we, last time, because he retired in race 1 on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. This is the scrap for second place overall and in the V6s. So very close here. Vazin in the Exige. We've got Nivora out front through Ben Spaller, and Peter Verlinde in his Nivora is going to have a look through on the inside line and finds the speed there. Good exit, but no. On brakes onto the next part of the circuit, we see Thomas Vazin responding well. This is a super race for second place, exactly what Ben Spaller wants out front, because he's going to start to get away. So it's the Hungarian still leading from his compatriot Thomas Vazin in his Exige, and then the Evora of Peter Verlinde really putting pressure on the Belgian, having a good go there, but a fine race developing between these two. Verlinde's got really good pace down the straight, goes to the outside line. This is the challenge for second position. Can he get the momentum around turn 1? We go overhead and have a look at that. He'll go for the cutback, but that'll convert to the outside for the next corner. Doesn't work for him, but Verlinde really trying to work out all the different lines and different opportunities to make the pass. Again, goes for a sweeping line here to try and carry as much speed as he can out of the corner and onto the next straight, but he's still got some twists and turns to negotiate here before he can do that. Wonderful in-car footage once again, and this fine battle for second, and they're free of the rest of the cars, so they can just battle as they want to here. Again, wide line for the Comatec car, putting pressure on, looks to the inside line again. Vazan comes across, tries to get a wider line into the corner, so slightly defensive, but also mindful of the fact that he needs to take a little bit of a wide sweep in without leaving a gap on the inside so he can get the exit speed. In car with Verlind again, coming downhill, he's got the inside line, he's got the crossover here and will go through into second place. Ben Spaller well ahead, and this battle for second, they're not really doing each other any favours by battling hard. Xavier Georges still running in fourth place at the moment. Peter Verlind, as we reach the halfway stage of the race, a great battle with Tamas Vazan, and we've got now the Evoras 1 and 2 with the Exige, leading Exige of Tamas Vazan in third place, but a good little scrap there with the number 9 car of Xavier Georges back in fourth position at the moment in his Exige as well. And you have to say the battle for second probably over now. Tamas will try and get back in if he possibly can. Vazan putting a very good lap in to claim pole position. Here's a replay of this run down the inside. Once he got the overlap, there was no question he was going to get the position, and Vazan saw him, gave him room. I'd take my hat off to both drivers, super racing up to that point, and indeed as the move was executed. Well, Natalie Genoux-Prache, as ever, having a good race with Ian Fennick. We often see these two together on track, very evenly matched cars and drivers, and the story between these two playing out once again here in Germany at the Nurburgring. Terrific race between the pair. This for 13th and 14th position. Natalie Genoux-Prache up ahead of Ian Fennick. And they've been close all season, as you've heard me say several times over the course of the year. And Natalie fourth in the championship for 2:11, with Ian Fennick just ahead of her, 7 points ahead coming into this round. And he'll be looking to try and reverse the on-track position to extend the bronze medal position in the championship, make that a stronger claim for him. Natalie Genoux-Prache, of course, will have seen her husband retire from the race in the production category earlier on, and it's a good battle. I'll tell you what, the gap is definitely coming down between the pair, so Ian Fennick on a little bit of a mission, and we ride in car with him, making the pass. Might be there is hubby Jean-Pierre Genoux-Prache watching the missus going round. Talking of family matters, we've got the McAnultys together as well, and a replay of very nearly a family coming together as Jason McAnulty tries to go on the inside line of David. That was a little while ago, and Jason did manage to pull off that move, as is evidenced here. So Jason ahead of David. Saw Jason McAnulty racing in Ginetta GT4 Super Cup at Thruxton a while ago, which was after the Brands Hatch Lotus Cup Europe round, and I think thoroughly enjoyed himself in there. But now back with us as into pit lane comes David McAnulty. Is there anything wrong, or is that a drive-through? Meanwhile, driving through, or trying to drive through and get third place and getting it, is Xavier Georges. So Georges passes Tamas Vazan. Is he going to run wide and let Tamas back on the inside line? No, he doesn't. He's consolidated that. How much speed will he carry into the left-hander? Will he leave a gap? Tamas closing up on him under braking, but can't quite go back through. It was a very well done move there by Xavier Georges. Frenchman passing Hungarian, and they're both chasing a Belgian. It really is Cosmopolitan Lotus Cup Europe, as the name suggests. Here's the second place man, Peter Verlind. He's got enough breathing space at the moment, but I'm wondering whether Xavier Georges is, or has got such momentum that he's going to be able to close in. Runs a little bit wide there. Another look at the pass, comes out of the slipstream. I think had a good run out of the final turn, down into turn one, runs wide, but in some circumstances means he can get on the gas a little bit earlier. And here was the danger point of maybe running wide, but turns in well. He's got the car well under control, and he becomes the leading Exige in the race as Ian Fennick continues to chase Natalie Genoux-Prache, runs very wide there. Fennick closing up. David McAnulty lost one place with his pit visit. and he's immediately in front of these, and in theory should pull away given the pace we've seen from him in qualifying and in the race. Some of the V6s are very evenly matched with the 211s. These two having a go. There's confirmation that the gap has come down from half a second to 0.3 over the last couple of laps, and Natalie's still there at the moment, but Ian Fenwick looking to try and get past. Natalie's taking a slightly tighter turn into this bend, and that is really probably bearing in mind a defensive, slightly defensive strategy, not overly defensive. There's Hubby watching her, great shot of Jean-Pierre watching Natalie, who runs a little bit wide here, loses momentum, and Ian Fenwick doesn't need a second invitation to go through, grabs the position. That is for 5th position in class, I think, and he'll extend the 7-point lead in the championship. So Natalie will now try and fight back as they come down the straight. You can see Natalie's lost 5 or 6 car lengths, and into turn 1 she'll try and close down again, but Ian Fenwick, really good move from him. He was there ready to pound. Natalie closing up majorly under braking. We'll see whether she can maintain that through the stadium complex. Here's a replay, ran a little bit wide. The door was open there. I'm not sure if it was maybe a misgear, slight misbraking, but just running wide and leaving enough room for the number 12 211 to go through on the inside line. Ian looking for another podium. Both of those drivers, incidentally, have 100% finish records, and I usually jeopardise things saying that. As going through, Anthony Fournier goes through and will take 3rd position in 211. The leader of 211 is Dave Harvey. Robin Nilsson's going to go past Philippe Lou as well. They're side by side. It looks like Philippe Lou's got a little bit of a problem, but it's Dave Harvey leading from Franck Laroche, with Anthony Fournier now up to 3rd place. You just saw up ahead of this group probably the 340R of Dave Harvey, with Franck Laroche as well. Franck 100 points clear of his nearest rival in the championship, as we said earlier on. And so Robin Nilsson is next up, then Philippe Lou, and then behind Philippe Lou we've got David McAnulty, and then obviously the battle between Ian Fenwick, such as it was, Ian Fenwick and Natalie Genoux-Praché. Having lost ground now, Xavier Georges. I paused momentarily because Xavier Georges, of course, was up in 3rd place, but he's dropped back into the clutches of Dave Harvey in the 340R, the leading 211 Open car, and it's a very close battle between those two, as you can see, and it rather looks, certainly the 79 car has not lost any ground. Big pardon, the 57 car has not lost any ground. Sideways moment there for David McAnulty, collects it all up exceedingly well, these very spectacular cars. Ben Spaller, well, what a drive from the reigning champion once again, looking for another win. This would be a 4th win on the trot. Had a retirement at Assen race 1, had 4 race wins prior to that, so he will have had 2 runs of 4 race wins on the bounce, and other than that had another sort of solitary win, if you could call it that, race 2 at Hockenheim, before taking 2nd position to Jason McAnulty at Paul Ricard. But a faultless race from him. The clock has now expired. That means that he's on his last lap of our first race here at the Nurburgring, and he's not looking in any danger at all, Ben Spaller. He's still clear. Pieter Villin still 2nd. Thomas Vazan having reclaimed 3rd place from Xavier Georges, who we saw drop back a little bit. The production category led by Mark Yates from Kai Cederholm. Kai there in the blue 32 car, and this is the battle for 4th place. Jason McAnulty has just got the 1 lap to try and sort out Thierry Verheest. Thierry, remember, 2nd in the V6 category. Jason is 4th. He won't overcome Thomas Vazin. I don't think he's going to overcome Thierry Verheest in the points in this race either, because he's on 199, Thierry on 234. He's working hard, but the Able Care car at the moment not able to get on terms with the Belgian. So it's Brit versus Belgian for 4th place. Immediately ahead of us is Mark Yates, the championship leader for the productions. Remember, that's before drop scores. Sven Pedersen, I think, probably leads on drop scores. Jason McAnulty, I'm hoping he's enjoying driving that car as much as we're enjoying watching it. He really is throwing it around in a determined manner to try and close in on Thierry. He's really chucking everything at it to get past Verheest as Bence Ballot comes up towards the closing stages again in the number 1 car. The final turn is the Jaguar curve, then it's the run down towards the checkered flag. You can see the grandstands in the distance. He comes over the grid lines and takes the checkered flag. Bence Ballot takes the win, having led from the first corner from P2 on the grid. Pieter Verlind is going to take second. Here he is spectacularly coming out of the last corner, as does Thomas Vazan, who will get third. And this is the battle for fourth, and he's done it. He's through. Jason McAnulty is through ahead of Thierry Verheest into fourth place. So McAnulty will take fourth. Then it's Verheest. The car following them is the leading production runner. That's Mark Yates. Yates is going to take a second production win of the season. Down behind him you can see in blue is Kai Cederholm, the 32 car, who will take second position. Dan Plant is third in productions. And what's happened to Dave Harvey? Because taking the win in the 211 Open category is Franck Laroche, the championship leader, who is absolutely made up. But look at that, the 57 car, Franck Laroche, takes the 211 win, and Dave Harvey, I think, is a final lap retirement. Dan Plant coming through as well. What a race we've had. Applause from Jean-Pierre Genet-Prache. He'll be disappointed not to have finished the race, but without a doubt enjoyed watching it. Bence Ballot, the race winner here for race 1 at Nurburgring, and he'll have his eyes on the double. Pieter Verlind in second. Third place going to former champion Thomas Vazan, who, as you can see, is in behind, and there's a better shot of the 81 car. So a great race which, between the 3 categories, had some fine moments here in Germany. Is the result for you. Ballot from Verlind and Vazan, Jason McAnulty fourth from Thierry Verheest, first in 211 Open Franck Laroche from Xavier Georges, Anthony Fournier second in 211 Open, then Robin Nilsson and David McAnulty completing the top 10. It was Philippe Lou who was next and takes a podium in 211 Open. Natalie Genet-Prache fourth in class, ahead of production winner Mark Yates, then Kai Cederholm, Dave Carr ahead of Dan Plant, who completes the podium, then Sven Pedersen and Danny Holland.
We're here with a race winner. Bence, congratulations. It was a good race today. How was it for you?
Thank you. Yeah, it was all right. After the start, it was relatively eventless. In the first half of the race, I was really pushing, tried to make up quite a lead. And after that, I was just really managing the tires, trying not to destroy them for tomorrow's race.
We're here with Peter, who finished second in V6 today. Peter, you had a good battle out there at the start with Tamas. How was the race for you after that?
Yeah, I had a great battle with Tamas, but he held me up a little bit. He was slowing down, and I lost. I had a big gap with Bence, so I couldn't get him anymore. So I have to be very happy with second place.
Tamas, he started on pole today. How was the race?
It was hard. Yeah, it was hard. Diavor was faster on the race, and Xavier was very, very fast. I don't know what happened in the straight. He just passed me. Yeah.
Is the car running okay? Did you have any issues out there?
Yeah, the car was okay. The tires were okay. I don't know. I think the engine was a bit hot.
We're here with Frank, winner of the 211 class. How was your race today, Frank?
C'était une très très belle course pour cette première du week-end. Après un départ un petit peu compliqué, avec un premier virage compliqué également, j'ai pu faire une très belle bagarre avec mon copain Anthony et puis avec Robin. J'ai réussi à les passer. Après, j'ai continué à pousser fort pour essayer de récupérer David et Philou qui ont eu quelques soucis mécaniques, ce qui m'a aidé aussi pour les doubler et puis de récupérer la première place de la catégorie. C'est vraiment bien pour moi et pour le championnat, donc je suis vraiment super content.
Mark, congratulations on the win. How was that today?
Oh, thank you, Graham. It was a bit of a lonely old race there at the front. Would have much preferred to have been battling with me compadre Sven over there, but I'll take the win. It's nice to be here. Great circuit. Happy for the win.
Hi Dan, what a great race out there. Finished P3 in production class. How was the race for you?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, we got off to a reasonable start. It was actually quite blocked in at the start, and then picked off a few people, and then brought it home to have a good race. So we're pretty happy with P3.
The cars are on the grid ready for race 2. Tamas Vazan starting on pole. Yesterday's race winner Ben Spaller is starting second, with Peter Verlinde third.
And some good news is that we've got Ryan Savage back on the grid in his 211, so he'll be hoping to work his way through the field. But leading down, race 1 winner Ben Spaller looking to try and make it a double, as we said, with to his outside Tamas Vazan. Xavier Georges will line up in 3rd position on the grid. Sven Pedersen, strangely, away from the podium in race number 1. Reigning champion, 4th position, only 1 place shy, but nonetheless we expect to see him up there battling for podium positions, but maybe indicative of just how competitive things are in the production class right now. Green flag at the back of the field, and we'll wait for the starting sequence to go that little bit further. Lights on now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights on. Out go the lights very quickly indeed here at the Nurburgring. And it's Tamas Vazan taking the battle to Ben Spaller, but Baller is up through the gears quickly. Ben Spaller leads, Vazan second, challenge on for third. Xavier Georges there, Peter Verlinde looking round the outside line. So too is Jason McAnulty, who comes out of that in 5th position. Superb start. Sven Pedersen challenging Kai Cederholm, Jean-Pierre Genou-Prachet. There's the race leader in front of us for the productions, and that again is Mark Yates looking to try and make it a double as well. Jean-Pierre Genou-Prachet sorted out whatever went wrong in race number 1. He's in 3rd place in the productions at the moment. See Kai Cederholm in blue in 2nd position up ahead of him, but another great start to this half-hour race for the championship leader Ben Spaller. Not trying to work out whether Benz has made any ground on the LaRoche brothers in terms of the overall championship, as Peter Verlinde goes side by side with Tamas Vazan out of shot. Now Daniel Palmer back with us as well. That's the other good news, should have mentioned that too. So Daniel Palmer, after his retirement, very early retirement in race number 1, hoping to pick up some decent points here as well. So it's Verlinde in 2nd place, Tamas Vazan 3rd, followed by Xavier Georges. And then it was a real determined fight back after the problems for Jason McAnulty in race number 1. And he's in 5th position here and clear of Thierry Verheest. The winner could come from any one of the top 5. You probably wouldn't discount Thierry Verheest either on a good day, but at the moment he's in 6th and lost a wee bit of ground as they come out of the Jaguar curve down the main straight towards turn 1, so nicely settled as they come into the hairpin, although Xavier Georges having a look at Tamas Vazan. 211 Opens all involved in their battles as well. Remember, it was LaRoche that took the win in race number 1, and through we come with Ben Spaller. I tell you what, Peter Verlinde looks a little bit more handy in this one, in 2nd position, starting to put Baller under some pressure. Only a couple of lengths away, and the Comatec car is getting closer. That's the point of the circuit now. Here's a pass into P2. Great move from Verlinde, and really putting Ben Spaller under pressure now. So Verlinde looks like he's the driver who maybe has the momentum out of the pair, using all the curbs, plus maybe a little bit more, but is he going to be able to close down on the race leader? The one thing we've seen from Ben Spaller so far this year is that he's quick at pulling away and coming into the Vidal chicane at the moment, which is the penultimate bend on the track. We've seen that he's capable of pulling away, but also defending, and that's what Xavier Georges is trying to do at the moment, but runs wide, and Jason McAnulty goes through from 5th up into 4th place. An issue there for Robin Nilsson, and also Philippe Lou is out of the race too. So Philippe Lou, one of the big hitters in the 211s, is out. This is the battle for the lead down the straight. And I tell you what, Ben Spaller, we're seeing him having to defend here. He's tight to the inside line, and around the outside line goes Peter Verlinde. Is he going to hang on to this? He's trying to get momentum to hold on. Is he going to get a good run out of the corner into the next one? No, he doesn't, but he really is putting the race leader under pressure here. So it's 1 and 2 in the race. Our numbers 1 and 2 on the cars, and Peter Verlinde very much looking the race here off the 2 here. So it's Belgian chasing Hungarian at the moment, and we've got a race on. I'll tell you what, Ben Spaller, if he maybe thought he had it easy in race number 1, he was away and down the road. He is not having any such gift in this one and coming under a fair amount of pressure. Great racing from Lotus Cup Europe. You get it in all of the classes. Tamas Vazan, former champion, still there in 3rd. Jason McAnulty looking to try and get up on the podium as well, but we're rightly focused on this super battle between 1st and 2nd. Balla using all the track and more. It's going to be interesting on key points of the track to see how defensive he will get. Let's have a look here. He's actually taking a nice wide line, maybe not feeling too threatened as he go into the chicane. The main defensive line, I guess, is going to be down into turn 1 as they come into the arena. That might be where he feels that he needs to just get across and annex that inside line. They both get a decent run out of Jaguar Curve down across the grid lines. Let's see whether the race leader is going to go across the track and defend. Actually, I don't think he's defending as much as he did on the previous lap. Velin closing up and going for the move on the inside line, but couldn't quite do it. Very nearly got an overlap there, but not quite. And now he's looking on the inside line as they go through the stadium part. He's got his nose up, he's got the overlap, but there's a little bit more momentum on the outside line here. Ben Spaller, I tell you what, this, to my mind, looks like it's only a matter of time before the number 2 car gets through on the inside line, which he does. But now we've got Balla trying to fight back, but the door is firmly closed by Peter Verlind, who, remember, is looking for his first win in Lotus Cup Europe. That was a great attack from him, and immediately onto the defensive to grab the line into the corner, and Ben Spaller has been bettered by the Belgian, looking a little bit frustrated there, Bence, I've got to say. Got a tad crossed up on the curbs there, and that will lose him time. Jason McAnulty in 4th, trying to hunt down Tamas Vazan and get up into a podium position again. I think we might have seen a podium from Jason in race number 1, but for that small problem. But now, is this done? Because we are in the very early doors of this race, and Verlinder's come through. Here's a replay of him. He got a good run out of the hairpin, popped his nose down the inside, got the overlap, and I thought at that stage that Ben Spaller had managed to defend. There was just half a gap there, including the run on the curbs, and Verlind made the most of that and squeezed his way past on the next apex. Wonderful racing between the pair of them. Look at that, he got his inner wheels in on the curb to make that gap, so that was clean racing. No contact between the two as well, and the lead change works for him, and got a gap of 1.1 seconds at the end of 4 laps. Verlind in lead position, with Jason McAnulty getting a little bit crossed up there. Tamas Vazan through again into 3rd position, so McAnulty with all the work to do again. Won't do him any favours as Xavier Georges tries to close in as well. Thierry Verheest is next up in the 17 car, then Daniel Palmer in 21. The leading 211 is Anthony Fournier, having a better time of it in this race than he did earlier on in race 1. Here is a replay of Jason. Look at that, very neat flick to the inside there, move to the inside for Jason McAnulty to grab the position, but then runs a little bit wide. Tamas Vazan repays the compliment, goes back through, and Xavier Georges got the box seat to watch that as the race leaders come down towards Vidal again. Wide line here from Verlind. He is not defensive at all. He looked racier off the start, Peter Verlind. He's still effectively learning this car, as well as the tracks. I believe his first visit here. Stand to be corrected on that as we watch Daniel Palmer having a much better race of it this time. Any laps are going to be better than no laps on the previous one. He was very frustrated as he came into the pits earlier on, and having to work his way through the field once again. And here comes Jason McAnulty side by side. That is a very good textbook pass. Got that one done well before the corner. I don't think he's going to run wide here. That is a very controlled pass by Jason McAnulty. Extremely well thought out. Vazan trying to take the battle back to him, but the Evora is through, so at the moment it's an Evora 1, 2, 3. Tamas Vazan, the leading Exige, will try and get back onto the case again followed by Xavier Georges. Xavier might try and close in now, but you can see behind them Thierry Verheest in the red car, and then Daniel Palmer not that far back as well. So podium potentially here for Jason McAnulty, number 11, 2 retirements at Brands Hatch. Really disappointing for him on home tarmac. 2 second places before that at Assen, a 7th place at Spa, and a retirement. It really hasn't been Jason's season thus far, but here a podium, really getting things going in the right direction once again. And he's got, of course, we've got a triple header at Le Mans, the final event of the season, where we move from supporting the DTM to supporting the European Truck Championship. So all very high profile events, and this championship, of course, without a doubt picked because of the entertainment value which we've seen over the course of many seasons, to be fair. And this season has delivered again. 0.4 of a second the gap between Verlinde and Balla. McAnulty still in third, he's 3 seconds down. Thomas Vazan next. I got the impression there that Verlinde was maybe a little bit more defensive. Certainly Balla hasn't given up the ghost, and he's closer to Verlinde. So Bence Balla, it's almost like he's getting the car into a race rhythm now and starting to close down, because it was early doors where he lost the lead. It was lap 4 where he lost the lead, and we're around about halfway through the race now. Bence Balla getting into a rhythm, getting second wind almost, and he'll have a lot more experience of driving these cars over the half-hour race distances. So Verlinde from Balla. Is this going to change again? Balla, of course, has got to try and close out. He'll want the double. Championship points-wise, won't be overly concerned about second, because this is Verlinde's 3rd meeting of the season and not in the overall chase for championship points, having done a limited campaign. What a battle for the lead we've got now. It's hotting up. We're into very nearly into the last 10 minutes of the race, so the last third of our second race here at the Nurburgring. And Bence Balla going wide. I tell you what, still not defensive from Peter Verlinde. Slightly different lines going through turn 1. We've still got Jason McAnulty running in 3rd place from Thomas Vazan. Great move there. Daniel Palmer moves up ahead of Thierry Verheest. Palmer's having a very good race. Wonderful shot from Verheest of Palmer hanging on to that car and powering out of the corner down in towards the stadium complex. Really super shots we're getting this weekend. And still out front, Verlinde is just whatever Bence Balla throws at him, he seems to be able to respond and start to pull away. Still the Evora 1-2-3. They've gapped the 3rd place car of Jason McAnulty, but Jason's going to be pleased to be back on the podium for sure. Thomas Vazan now beginning to attract the attention of Daniel Palmer, so the Swede having a very good run, on for his best result here since race 1 at Assen, as one of the leading 211 Open cars goes round the unique 340R, unique as far as this race is concerned, 340R of Dave Harvey. Vazan now passed, as you can see there, by Daniel Palmer, nips through. Great move by the Swede, passing the Hungarian driver. Thierry Verheest coming under a bit of pressure now as well. And that's from Xavier Georges in the Golf liveried Exige, the number 9 car. The Frenchman busy trying to make. Now here's a replay. Was that a jump start? That's just how quick. It was a jump start, wasn't it? You can see that from the back of the grid, left of shot. Daniel Palmer was already at top speed when the others, I think, were still in first gear. And that is maybe why he is up and not that far away from a podium position at the moment. So I'm guessing that Palmer is going to get a drive through or a time penalty or something like that because of the start that he did. A little bit of there you go. As if by magic, he comes in. Fair play to him coming in. He's going to be very frustrated. We saw how frustrated he can get in race number 1. Here is the view from Thierry Verheest. Palmer, a little bit of a shame for him really, because he didn't cause any problems on the start, but rules are rules. So it is, a jump start. Robin Nilsson in pit lane, as you can see there in the 59, but Daniel Palmer back out. Not a great race for the Swedes then, both of them in pit lane at the same time. battle for the lead starting to approach. A little bit of traffic, 3 minutes on the clock remaining, so there will be some of the lead production runners appearing in vision for these two race leaders. It could affect things as Ben Spaller goes very tight to the pit wall to have a look for the lead, but the gap wasn't there when they went past the pit lane exit. Baller challenging hard. I tell you what, this is a great drive by Verlinde, really coping with a lot of pressure from the reigning champion and the championship V6 championship leader, and he's got to defend for another 3 minutes plus whatever remains of the lap when the clock runs down, but it's still 1 and 2 for these two cars. And as we say, a little bit of traffic coming up. Mark Yates leading production there in the 37. Jean-Pierre Genou-Prachet second. Third, back on the podium, is Sven Pettersson. And of course the V6s won't want to interfere if they can help it with the production battle, but stranger things have happened. They're still very much racing hard. Jason McAnulty trying to close in as well for third place. Jason looking good for a podium here. Let's not speak too soon though. 211 Open still led by Anthony Fournier. Ian Fennick having a brilliant race here as well. He's on for a podium by the looks of things. A little bit further back as Jean-Pierre Genou-Prachet was about to have a look for second place. Here's the view from Sven Pettersson. Past go the leading two cars. Jean-Pierre in between the two leaders at the moment. Then firing through goes Ben Spaller. The battle for second place in production can resume. And it's Mark Yates who's still out front. He's got a little bit of a run now, Mark Yates. Frantically waved blue flags at Mark Yates, who's doing absolutely nothing wrong. He'll see that those cars are there. The lead car has cleared him. Ben Spaller goes through on the inside line as well. Mark Yates' lead is intact. Jason McAnulty goes through as well. And Sven Pettersson busy trying to see if he can have a go and come through for the second position battle. Then we've got Dave Carr here in the 20, followed by Kai Cederholm, and then Dan Plant in the light blue car. And then we've got the 211 and Daniel Palmer coming through as well. It's Anthony Fournier, by the way, the lead driver in 211, followed by Daniel Palmer after his drive-through. So Daniel's got work to do again, and he'll feel very aggrieved about this weekend, I think. Shame to see him retire from race number 1. Less than a minute to go, and the two leaders not as close together as they were. Again, closing stages of the race. Jason McAnulty is spectacular at the end of this race as he was in race number 1, and chasing hard. Mark Yates in behind. It's going to be a double for Mark Yates here. He's going to hang on to third position overall in the championship by my reckoning, and indeed the production lead. On drop scores has probably closed in a wee bit on Sven Pettersson, but we won't publish those, we won't see those. I'll have to work them out at the end of the race as the two leaders come through. Vidal once again. Don't think, is this going to be the last lap, or are they going to squeeze it? I think they're going to squeeze another lap out of it as they head down to the checkered, well, it's not the checkered flag, it's down to the line. It won't be the checkered flag. Coming down towards us. The clock is flashing. We're going to get another lap. They just about squeeze another lap out of it. That is amazing. That was nip and tuck for sure. I tell you what, Peter Verlinde would have been quite happy to see the checkered flag there. He's under big pressure from Ben Spaller, who knows that he's only got one more lap to go. So Baller piling the pressure on the Comatech car at the moment. Both of them with lights ablaze for any more traffic that they might encounter, but they've gone past the lead production runners, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue for them. Great shot of them there into the stadium complex. Still Jason McAnulty in third. Xavier Georges is in fourth position. Verlinde here. This, remember, is for a potential first win in the championship. It's his sixth race and will be his fifth finish. He's had one retirement, but has finished second on all the other occasions. And he's attacked to get into the lead. He's defended well for the majority of the race. Had a little bit of an advantage earlier on, but now Ben Spaller's got back into his stride and has been all over him for most of this race, and he's really trying now and looks down the inside line. He's challenging for the lead. Are we going to see Ben Spaller coming through? He's got the gap. The gap was there, but not the pace to go through on the inside line. They come through Vidal once again, and Verlinde is there. It could be a run to the flag here. Ben Spaller's coming out of the slipstream. There's a little bit of a gap on the inside line. He's close. I think he very nearly, he didn't get brake checked, but he very nearly went into the back, and that means that Peter Verlinde has got the momentum to take the checkered flag here at the Nurburgring from Ben Spaller. Jason McAnulty will take third place, fourth goes to Xavier Georges, then Tamas Fazan. Right behind Tamas in the yellow car is the lead production runner, and it's going to be Mark Yates once again. A double for Mark Yates. Jean-Pierre Genou-Prachet next up. Here comes Daniel Palmer. He's running in 8th place. We saw Thierry Verheest in the mix up with the leading production runners as well. Through Jaguar comes Daniel Palmer. A good run after his drive-through penalty. Could have let things get more frustrating for him, but he didn't. As Kai Cederholm goes through chasing Dave Carr. Dan Plant next up in the productions. This is Ian Fenwick and Franck Laroche. Franck Laroche is going to be third here. Great drive by Ian Fenwick to take second position at the flag. The 211 Open win having gone to Anthony Fournier. Super stuff from Ian Fenwick. And that is, I reckon, that's his best finish of the season. Second position in class. But overall, another super Lotus Cup Europe race with Peter Verlinde taking his first win. Evora 1, 2 and 3. Xavier Georges takes fourth with Thomas Vance and Thierry Verheest. First 211 Open was Anthony Fournier from Daniel Palmer. Second 211 Open, Ian Fenwick, and third in class, Franck Laroche, completing the top 10. Ryan Savage came through in 211 Open for fourth in class, 11th overall. Then Natalie Genou-Prachet and Dave Harvey. Production won by Mark Yates, a double for him. Jean-Pierre Genou-Prachet up ahead of Sven Pedersen, Dave Carr, Kai Cederholm and Dan Plant in 19th place, the last of the finishers. Super racing, great conditions here, sets us up nicely for our finale at Le Mans in a few weeks.
We're here with the race winner, Peter. How was that race today for you?
Yeah, awesome. I still can't believe it. I'm so happy. It's amazing. Yeah, I had to fight very hard to keep Benz off because he's a smart and fast driver. So I'm happy. Yeah.
Ben's second place today. You had a cracking battle with Peter. Tell me about it.
Yeah, of course, Peter and the Comatec team had new tires on for this race. You know, they really wanted to win on home turfs. Yeah, he went flying past, I think, on laps 3 and 4. But after that, his new tires started falling off. So I managed to keep the distance, then close up on him. I had some real bad luck with lapped cars. So every time I caught up to him, I had to fall back for like a second or so. I had a few cracks at him here and there. But yeah, like this version of the Nurburgring is just way too tight to do any fancy trickery.
Anthony, victory today on the second race. How was your race for you?
Yeah, it was very good race. I had a very good start. I was I think fifth at the first corner. Then I have a good battle with my teammates in 2-3 first lap, and then he had a drive-through. So I finished the race quite alone and with a good pace, and I'm very happy today to win.
We're here with the production class winner, Mark Yates. 2 victories over the weekend. It's a good, solid weekend at the Nurburgring for you.
Yep, it was a good result. It's been a long time coming this year. We've not had the greatest of luck, but you know, you've got to have bad luck to have good luck. Happy for the 2 wins. Yeah, and I had bad news this morning. Nan passed away, so that's for her.
Our condolences to Mark and the Yates family. Mark's still third overall in the championship and leading the productions. Ahead of him, V6 championship leader Ben Spaller and overall championship leader, the 211 Open class leaders Chris and Franck Laroche. Natalie Genou-Prachet, the only major change in the standings, has gone up to third in 211s. We now leave the Nurburgring and look forward to your company next time out, the final round at Le Mans.